Welcome to my channel. I'm here to bring you yet another car review, and that does mean that the death knell sounded for the MG, which I actually had to return to the dealership because it really just had too many problems. In fact, it spent 3 months in the garage. And I also found out something else which I wasn't rather too pleased about, and that is that although it does have the ability to have a certain element of faster charging, it really doesn't harness rapid charging in the same way as the pure electric version does. And that actually means you end up paying a lot more for electric than you would if you had the pure electric version. So I wasn't really getting the savings that I would hope to have received with the MG hybrid version. Anyway, with all the issues that we had, we just had to get another car, and we settled on this car, which is the Mercedes, still in white. And I just wanted to give you a heads up on things that I liked. I tested a few features to see if it had similar foibles to the MG, and if you watch the review, you'll find out whether it does or does not. I'm not going to spend too much time on the aesthetics of the car because you can see that on any catalogue. I'm just going to go straight to the point on the things that I find important for me. With this car, there are no funky mechanisms for opening the flap. You simply just push the flap and it opens. Yay! This is really cool because it means that when you get to the petrol station and you want to put petrol in the car, you don't have to worry about having to remember before you get out of the car to open the petrol flap. One thing that was good about the MG was that it was very spacious in the back. In comparison, the Mercedes is less so. It's a bit cramped and getting in and out is more challenging. The car doors are fairly weighted, which means that you do need to give it a firm push to close the doors. This might be an issue for some, not for me, but it's good to know. So I don't have a beautiful red trim, but I have a classic black with very chic white stitching. Also, this particular model has got heated seats, and generally inside it is absolutely full of gadgetry, and I like the way that they've given you options. So for example, you've got your touch screen here, but if you don't want to use your touch screen, you can use your mouse pad down here. So this is in addition to the controls that you have on the steering wheel. One thing I thought was a little bit disappointing was down here. I would have expected there to be a USB connection, but all they've got is a USB-C. So you do actually need a USB-C to USB-C cable if you want to be able to connect your phone. Now this one is down here is specifically made for Apple, and inside here you have a connection that is more generic and can be used for other devices. And you also have, hold on, I'm just going to get to the back, a USB-C to USB whatever connection down here. One of the things that we don't have is a cigarette lighter or a 12-volt port, and that is a bit disappointing because it means that you can't put in an adapter to charge, for example, for using a USB connection or something that uses a 12 volt. So I think that is a miss here, but I don't know whether I can work around that. But yeah, that's probably the one thing that I think is lacking in this car.
I don't have any issues opening and closing the boot with the key as I did with the MG. The boot function is absolutely spectacular on this boot, and I'm going to show you why. If you have restricted height in your garage, or simply you're just a petite person, this next function will really please you. You can actually adjust the height to which the boot opens. Simply press the button at the desired height to which you want the boot to stop, and it will stop at that height. That's so cool. And then you press it again in order to reset it to open to its normal height. And that is not all. Let me show you the inside of the boot, and then I'll show you another function on the boot closure. Inside the boot, you've got a gadget to inflate the tires, and also a gadget to fill a tire with gel in case you have a breakdown. There's no spare tire, but at least you're covered. I discovered this safety feature just by accident when I was trying to close the boot, and look, it's a fantastic safety feature, especially for mums. Mums, you'll be so pleased about this. Can you see that the carpet was blocking the lock here, and it did not allow the boot to close? That is just so good if you are worried about things getting trapped, fingers getting trapped, people getting trapped. Brilliant. And a super duper feature which I found down here means that you can actually open the boot and control it from inside. So perhaps, you know, someone is putting something into your boot and you don't want to have to get out or use the key. You can just press this button and hey presto, the boot will open. If you've watched my previous review, you'll know that one of the things that bothered me about the MG is the fact that you couldn't turn the entertainment system off, which would sometimes mean that if you would start the engine up, you would have sound full blast in your ears. So I was really glad to find that you can actually mute the sound, and then when you start the car up again, the sound is muted. This is definitely a better way to address the issue of turning off the sound system. So although you can't actually turn it off, you can mute it completely. Unlike in the MG, we only have one set of speed limit indicators, and it's actually on the driver's side. And there's nothing on the navigation. So we don't have two sets of conflicting pieces of information there. As with all cars, I can tell that the petrol cap is on the left because of the little arrow that's to the left of the fuel gauge there. I don't know if you know that, but yeah, most cars have it, and it always tells you whether you need to fill up on the left hand side or on the right hand side. I always find that really useful. Now I did try to connect WhatsApp through the Bluetooth feature, and this car has the same problem as the MG in that it doesn't pick up the WhatsApp call through the Bluetooth. And before you say that yes, you can do this with Android Auto, etc, etc, my CT200 doesn't require any modifications to pick up a WhatsApp call using the Bluetooth. So this is a software issue, and I think it should be addressed. I do hope one day to be able to go back to a hybrid or pure electric car, but at the moment I'm thinking that the technology is quite new and it needs to be tested properly. And the MG was absolutely stunning in its aesthetics, but the software wasn't quite up to scratch. Mercedes have clearly tested their software out thoroughly, and I hope to be able to keep this car for a long time. If you decide to choose it, let me know down below. If you discover any foibles that I have not yet discovered, I'd like to know those too. And if you've got any solutions, that would be great as well. Happy driving. Bye.